You have definitely been in this exact frustrating situation. You are standing at the airport check-in counter, sweating nervously as you heave your heavy suitcase onto the metal scale. You stare at the digital numbers, praying your bag is under 50 pounds because you believe the airline is just looking for an excuse to hit you with an outrageous, greedy $50 overweight fee. It feels like a massive corporate scam designed to squeeze every last penny out of your vacation. But what you do not know is that weighing your bag has absolutely nothing to do with corporate greed. By weighing your luggage, that bored gate agent is actually performing a desperate, highly calibrated, life or death mathematical equation. And if they get that math wrong by even a few percent, the massive metal airplane you are about to board will literally flip backward and fall out of the sky the second it takes off. To understand why your luggage is a matter of absolute life and death, you have to throw away everything you think you know about how an airplane actually flies. Most people think an airplane flies like a car drives. You turn on the engines, you push the throttle, and the sheer power of the jet engines blasts the plane forward and up into the clouds. But an airplane is not a car. In the world of aviation physics, a commercial airliner is actually a highly sensitive, incredibly fragile seesaw balancing perfectly on a pin. That pin is the center of gravity. When an airplane is fully loaded with jet fuel, passengers, and cargo, it weighs hundreds of thousands of pounds, but all of that weight must be perfectly balanced over the wings, which are generating the invisible lift keeping the metal tube in the air. If you put a few extra heavy suitcases in the back of your car, the trunk might sag a little bit, but you can still drive to the grocery store. If you put too much weight in the back of an airplane, you have created a mechanical death trap. Before any commercial flight is legally allowed to push back from the gate, the pilots must receive a document called the load and trim sheet. This document calculates the exact weight of every single passenger, every drop of fuel, and every single bag loaded into the cargo hold beneath your feet. The pilots take this total weight data and program it into the airplane's flight computers. This data tells the computer exactly how to adjust the massive horizontal flaps on the tail of the airplane, known as the trim. When the airplane accelerates down the runway and reaches takeoffs, the pilot pulls back on the control yoke to lift the nose into the air. If the baggage weight data is perfectly accurate, the airplane gently lifts off the tarmac and climbs safely into the sky. But here is the terrifying reality of what happens if the airline lies about the weight or fails to measure your bags accurately. If there is significantly more weight loaded into the back cargo hold than the pilots told, the center of gravity shifts violently to the rear of the plane. When the pilot pulls back on the controls to take off, the heavy tail acts like an anchor. The nose of the airplane pitches up way too fast and way too high. In physics, this creates an aerodynamic stall. The wings completely lose their ability to generate lift. The jet engines begin screaming as they desperately try to push against the dead weight, but it is entirely useless. Because the nose is pointing almost straight up, the pilots physically cannot push the controls forward to level the plane out. The heavy tail drags the entire aircraft backward, and the plane plummets tail first directly into the ground, usually just seconds after leaving the runway. This is not a theoretical scenario. In the year 2003, a commuter plane known as Air Midwest Flight 5481 took off from North Carolina. The maintenance crew had miscalibrated the elevator controls, but more importantly, the airline had severely underestimated the weight of the passengers and their luggage. The center of gravity was drastically skewed to the back of the plane. The moment it left the runway, the nose pitched up uncontrollably. The plane stalled and it crashed into a hangar, killing everyone on board. Aviation authorities around the world realized they could never ever guess the weight of an aircraft again. The 50-pound baggage limit is not a random number chosen to steal your money. It is a strictly enforced mathematical boundary designed by aerospace engineers. It ensures that the ground crews loading the belly of the plane know exactly how much mass they are throwing into the front and back cargo zones. It allows the pilots to set the trim of the tail with flawless microscopic precision so that you don't stall and die in a fiery wreck at the end of the runway. We live in a world where we complain about the minor inconveniences of travel, completely oblivious to the brutal laws of gravity and aerodynamics that govern our survival. So, the next time you are at the airport and the gate agent charges you $50 because your bag is 5 pounds over the limit, do not yell at them. Do not complain about corporate greed. Pay the fee and thank them, because they aren't just weighing your sweaters and your shoes. They're performing the exact mathematical equation required to keep you alive.